Hi there, have you ever thought about what it takes to really improve your problem-solving toolkit? If so, today, that is exactly what we're going to talk about. If you're new here, I'm Krista Smith, and I'm on a mission to help ambitious women thrive as leaders by sharing what I've learned and am still learning as an executive, a lifelong optimizer, and a beauty school wannabe. So let's get into it. As you can tell, today I am driving to work. So I thought that we could talk together while I was driving. And what I wanted to share is that recently in my organization, we have completed a series of design thinking workshops. The reason why I brought these workshops to my team is not because we are necessarily a specific design thinking team, or that our job is operational excellence per se. I would argue that all of our jobs at work include continuous improvement and always problem solving, thinking to make processes and outcomes better. My intent was to create this common language among my team and some approaches that we could go to, some simple tools that we could go to, so that we have different ways of approaching problems, different things that we could try so that we can eventually improve outcomes. And also to drive that continuous improvement mindset on my team. I think it's really important that we don't point fingers at other people in the organization saying that, oh, it's the quality specialists or it's the lean process engineers that are responsible for quality improvement. It has to be all of us. So, that being my purpose, we introduced a design thinking workshop, and I will quickly go through each of these things. And you have to tell me if you would like it if we went deeper into each one of these tools, and if you would, of course, we can do that. So the first of the 5 tools in our design thinking toolkit is identifying the problem that we're trying to solve. It's absolutely critical, and if you've done any reading on problem solving or studying on problem solving, to be solving the right problem. And it's mind-blowing how much time and effort and money and resources we spend solving problems that truly aren't the right problem or the root cause of the problem. So the very first step is spending time thinking about, defining, brainstorming around what is the problem that we're actually trying to solve, and then codify that by writing it out in a problem statement. The next tool in our toolkit is called journey mapping. What journey mapping is where you map the user's experience throughout a process. One of the important hallmarks of design thinking is always looking at whatever the thing is from the point of the customer or the person that's going to be benefiting from the product or service or using the product and service. It's really important to get to that mindset. And this journey mapping tool helps to get the process designer into the mindset of the user. And it maps the user experience from high to low, happy to sad, across the duration of the process itself. The third tool is simply brainstorming. Now, I think all of us believe that we know how to lead a positive brainstorming or an effective brainstorming session. What's important is to dig into that a little bit and learn some techniques on how to brainstorm even better. An example is gather people's thoughts on paper or on sticky notes before the brainstorming session so that you get what people are thinking about individually before people start thinking and talking about their ideas out loud. Because groupthink, and depending on the power dynamics in the room, people might just quickly synthesize around one specific idea. And that's not what we want when we're brainstorming. We want many, as many as we can possibly get, ideas, good and bad, different, variety of ideas. And that's just one of the brainstorming techniques that can help to get a better outcome. The third tool in our toolkit is observational voice of the customer. Again, the importance of looking at the user perspective and really digging into that and understanding it. Observational voice of the customer is different than interviewing or asking for customer satisfaction in a customer satisfaction survey. Rather, the observational voice of the customer requires us to go out, sit with the customer, and actually observe and record what they do as they are interacting with our product or service. What that might look like if your product is a website would be watching the individual click through the website trying to find something, or how many calls they have to make in order to get to the right person in a process. Understanding that from an observational lens can just be absolutely revelatory, because the way that people will describe their interaction with a process or a product can sometimes be totally different than what they're actually doing. And the story that they like to tell at IDEO, which is a design thinking company out in Silicon Valley, they love to tell the story of the medicine bottle lid that they were trying to improve the design on. And they asked an individual, "Do you have any trouble getting into this medicine and opening the lid?" And the gentleman indicated, "No, not at all. I don't have any trouble." And if they had stopped there with the interview, if you will, or the customer feedback, they would say, "Oh, we don't have a problem. We don't even need to redesign this at all." Rather, though, they said, "Great, why don't you show me how you open this bottle and get your medicine?" And so the gentleman pulled out his meat slicer and proceeded to slice the cap off of the medicine bottle so that he could access his medicine. That's, to me, such a visual example of why it's important to watch our customers or our end users actually interact with what we're providing to them. And then the final thing, and just hugely important to me and in my organization, is the idea of experimentation. And in order to experiment, we really, really need to get comfortable with two things. The first one is showing unfinished work. Depending on an individual's personal beliefs about themselves or their individual courage, or an organization's culture, it can be really, really difficult and scary to show unfinished work, because we tell ourselves that we will be punished if we roll out or show anybody anything that is not ready for prime time or that's not perfect. Now, the irony there is that we can't get the thing perfect unless it has the thing has the opportunity to interact with our end users to learn what we don't know so that we can improve. This idea of experimentation starts with showing unfinished work. The other side of showing unfinished work is needing to be willing to iterate to improve. Once you show the unfinished work, learn what might make the product or the service better, you have to then tweak it in the process and then try it again. And be comfortable with this. Improve the product, have the users try it out, get the feedback, and then improve it again. And do that in short, rapid cycles. One other really important word to learn or concept to learn within this idea of experimentation, in addition to the two biggies that I just talked about, and that is showing unfinished work and iterating to improve. And that's the idea of minimum viable product. And it's a minimum viable product is all about mocking up, doing a low fidelity prototype, getting the idea out on paper or into the world so that users can start interacting with it and giving feedback on it. Oftentimes we try to have something polished and finished before we let the users interact with it, and we find out that it's designed completely wrong. So those are the 5 key things in the design thinking toolbox that I recently rolled out to my organization. Of course, there are a million other design thinking tools. I would love to hear what you all think about design thinking, how you might employ these tools, or what other tools you have in your personal problem solving and design thinking toolbox that you employ in order to be a better problem solver and to be on a journey of continuous improvement with the work that you do. Let me know what you think, how you might test these ideas, and again, if you would like us to go on a deep dive into these 5 tools. With that, have a great week, and I look forward to hearing from you. Bye-bye.